You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.
Here they go into the back. The blue light on. We have a race, and Satnova's beaten Pure Steel out by a length and a half.
Welcome to Talking Trots, hosted by Mortz and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
The sensational Sydney sider Seals to Sam comes off the back straight. He's a bucket load of alliteration, this fellow.
Scott Bomber Hill will join the boys to look at the Friday night meeting at Gloucester Park, and Hayden King will find the winners for the weekend's racing.
Here comes Quinny. I'm the mighty Queen is 4 deep and letting go.
Sit back and enjoy Talking Trots with Mortz and Michael Radley.
I'm the mighty Queen is just in front. Dasher VC can do no more, and the West Australian champion has done it again.
Hello and welcome to Talking Trots for another week. We're the walking wounded in here because we've got no Michael Radley, no Glenn Mortimer, and not even our regular substitute Glenn Moore, but we've got a very able special guest host tonight, and I'll get to that in a minute. We're looking forward to Gloucester Park tomorrow night, a cracking card of racing to get underway, and that's highlighted by the West Side features for the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings and the 3-year-old fillies, and earlier on as well, the Winter 4 and 5-year-old Restricted Classic, which has produced a really good lineup there. So a good night of racing, and that's also supplemented by Northam. They get underway tomorrow night at 18 minutes past 5, and then we've got a big weekend because we've got Narrogin Saturday and then we roll back into the racing. It's been a big week, and well, we're very fortunate to be joined by the ace race caller, the voice of Gloucester Park tonight, Richard Bell. Thanks for coming on, Richie.
Oh, pleasure to be here, Hayden, and you talk about the walking wounded. I could hardly sit down just then. I did a Pilates class first time in about 4 weeks, and a little muscle I didn't know existed just went for a bit of a pull, and it doesn't feel very good. So hopefully I can get through this 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, actually yesterday at the gym I did an exercise that I hadn't done for about 10 months because the last time I did it, I tore a muscle, and over that time it's finally healed, and yesterday I gave it a crack and it's pretty sore, but it's come through with flying colours.
Gave it a crack. Well, I hope it wasn't your vertebrae, but we are very imperfect creatures, there's no doubt about that. But one man who's just about perfect at the moment is Kyle Symington, and he came through with a treble on Tuesday.
And just before we get to him, he's our special guest tonight. We're going to go back to last week where the Codebreaker was able to salute on Friday.
Mustang on the turn, and the Codebreaker's in front from on the outside, Blitz and By. Then came the Mustang, the inside, and Beat City out wider, but he goes for the Codebreaker. It's in front from Blitz and By, Beat City and the Mustang. The Codebreaker the leader, Beat City trying hard, but the Codebreaker's going to do it well and win from Beat City and the Mustang on the inside.
He got his race last Friday, the Codebreaker, and he just dominated from the front. It was simple stuff a long way out, and his reinsman Kyle Symington joins us. Thanks for coming on, Kyle.
Yeah, no worries. Good afternoon, guys.
Kyle, it's been a very fast progression for you, and you kicked home a treble on Tuesday. It was a bit of an encore after Franco won the first, Franco Encore. You came home with Speedwagon and Jolted Charm. You drove very confidently from the outside, got outside the leader, and you must have thought you were on the winning horse a long way from home.
Yeah, especially after the way she performed the week before, and Shanoa said she came through that run well, and then, yeah, the early sectionals, I thought we would, definitely have a good chance in that race.
You haven't wasted any time since coming back from that break. You had a month off, but you've just been booting them home. Has it been a pretty seamless progression back into the driving ranks?
Yeah, so far it has. I think with the help of Ryan and a couple of trainers that I regularly drive for, it's been pretty seamless, and it's been good to get straight back into it.
Well, let's pick it up on Friday night. You've got Cheer the Major in race number 1. Beautiful draw for this horse. Has performed well from gate 1 in the past. Was thrashed by Who's the Dad, who went past the horse very quickly down the back straight over the 1,730 metres recently, but he did beat the others by a fair way, and you get a great opportunity again here.
Yeah, he's a really good front runner, and he's got the gate speed and the draw tomorrow night. So I think we'll be giving him his chance out in front. And it looks a suitable race, and the short course seems to suit him. When Who's the Dad beat him, he was absolutely flying. So like you said, he beat the rest of the field by quite a long way. So I think that's a good form line to go off. Yeah,
the 1,700 metre start in recent times has proven a bit of a trap for leaders or horses drawn 1 especially. Are you still confident you can do enough to hold up?
if I haven't looked at any gear changes, but if Gary has the
he's got the
cool-down
blocks on
him. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I'll be pretty confident that he'll be able to hold up because when the blocks go on, he has a lot more gate speed.
Okay, we go to Alderette in race number 2. This horse has been racing pretty consistently and battled away last start. It's a tricky draw, and Mia Culpa looks to have a little bit of a mortgage on the race from gate 1.
Yeah, Mia Culpa is a good front runner, and I think he'll be able to hold the front. So I'm not sure what we'll do. I'll have to talk to Sarah. I've never driven for her before. But like you said, the horse is racing really consistently, so I think he should be able to earn some money in this race.
Working further down the program, you take the reins next on in the 6th race. You've got Hillview Bondi. He's probably been a little bit below his last couple, but that's maybe because he's been driven more conservatively and he seems to thrive on that hard racing.
Yeah, I think so. Last start, Ryan just wanted me to look after him and take him back off the arm, but that won't be the case tomorrow night. We'll drive him back to his usual pattern and have him up on the pace, and yeah, I think he should put in a better performance.
And just going back to race 4, the Codebreaker has drawn in 3, so I'd imagine with Finvara drawn inside, Prince of Pleasure, and who knows what Vampiro is going to do from 5, but it's a step up in class for the Codebreaker, but he did it pretty well last start.
Yeah, it's a step up, that's for sure. And yeah, there's gate speed galore in this race, I think. So, I think we'll be running into the minor end of the money, but he's definitely racing consistently. We can't knock that. But last start, he did get it all his own way out in front. But he's come on well, and yeah, I think he won't disgrace himself in this field.
Just on Vampiro quickly, the hood comes off, so that may suggest that he's likely to be driven more conservatively first up off that break. We'll go down to race number 7, Pelagroso. He showed really good gate speed on Tuesday. That's probably his best asset, his gate speed. Do you feel, Kyle?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't liked to use it previously, but this prep he just seems to be a really happy and healthy horse, and it didn't seem to affect him first up. So yeah, we'll definitely be using that again tomorrow night.
You've got He's a Head Honcho drawn outside you, who we know is quick, and perhaps the one most likely to threaten early is Hot Footed, who can use that camber a bit to get down. You probably still can do enough to lead, though, do you feel?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think He's a Head Honcho has been getting out as quick as what he has been, what he has been known for previously. And yeah, I think my bloke's pretty quick, and coming out the gate last start, I think he'll probably be even more switched on behind the mobile tomorrow night.
Yeah, he did lead from gate 1 at Northam last season as well. We go down to race number 8. Ready to Fly here has a pretty tricky draw and has bumped into Skylord, who's underneath you in gate 6.
Yeah, Skylord and Velocipede are a class above my horse, that's for sure. But I think my horse is probably the next best. Just the draw is quite a leveler in this, so hopefully we can work our way into 3rd place, but if not, I still think he'll run a creditable race.
Atlantic Jewel is first time out in race number 10. I think the Jevons has actually got a hold of this horse because she reminded them of Swingband. She's the half relation to Swingband. Are there any similarities in the way they go about it?
Yeah, she's an identical picture to him, really, just a filly version. She has the same attitude and action, really. So hopefully she has the same heart and ability as him. That'd be great. She
looked a little bit lazy there in that trial at Byford. I thought you might put the hood on or something, but no gear changes. So from the inside, what do you think your application will be like early?
Yeah, we took her to trials because she had been a little bit lazier this time in and went with no earplugs at the trials, and that definitely sharpened her up according to her work during the week. So I think she should be pretty sharp and switched on. I'd like to lead. There's gate speed, but I think this filly has a bit of gate speed herself. So, I think all eggs will be in one basket, and I think she doesn't seem to let horses run past her, so that's a great asset of hers.
Yeah, so you've got a pretty good book there tomorrow night. Who do you rate as your best chances?
If Pelagroso puts his mind to the job like he did last start, I think he should go pretty well. So, I also think the filly in race 10, Atlantic Gem, I think she has a good future ahead of her.
Yeah, excellent. Well, best of luck out there tomorrow night, Kyle. Thanks for coming on.
No worries.
Thanks,
you.
Carl.
That's Kyle Symington, who's a young driver going places, and it's pretty impressive the way he's taken back to racing because there was no ring rust at all. He's bounced straight back into the winner's circle off that break.
Yeah, freshened up beautifully, clear mind, and he'd been driving really well anyway prior to the break. He's on Shell Patch as well at Narrogin on Saturday night, and didn't really have to ask him about Shell Patch because we know what it does, and it's drawn inside. It's a good race, actually, the John Higgins Memorial Heat on Saturday night at Narrogin with Shell Patch up against Goodfellas, who was scratched from an assignment recently. Did we get a reason?
He's out again.
He's out?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, ND there, no driver, but has he been officially scratched?
Yeah, I checked earlier today. So,
okay.
Yeah, Kyle's picked up a few drives there tomorrow, that horses that he's never driven before. Shell Patch, Lombo Mitchinson, Total Eclipse, but he'll be equal to the challenge.
Yeah, well, Total Eclipse is in the standing start and looks a chance as well. Bumps into Skippy's Delight, and also, what have we got? Tucks and Tails. Ashima had its win 4 starts ago, the little battler Ashima. It's drawn 1, so it's on its own on the front at Skippy's Delight's racing well for Callan.
Yeah, and on Tuesday he's also got Jolted Charm again, drawn gate number 1. So that horse would be pretty hard to beat, providing she could do enough to lead, because she did gallop when she was drawn 1 3 starts ago.
Right, okay, well, and Kyle's on again on Tuesday.
Yep, and Speedwagon probably run to the front again in the second race because he's got Luke Attack drawn inside.
Yeah, it's going to be another good book for Kyle on Tuesday. Of course, Jolted Charm was very impressive 2 starts ago, and then last start, as we mentioned, and just galloped away the first start. But Kyle wasn't on that particular occasion.
No. Okay, we're going to take a break. That's the end of the first segment. We're going to go back to last week, and it was a thrilling battle. It was only a case of 4 horses going around, but Finn Vara really injected himself into the contest down the back straight, and fleetingly looked like he might have the measure of himself, but himself was galvanised under hard driving there to get the money.
Next quarter, Fimbara the outside, himself the inside, and then Waterbro and Galactic Star, himself just in front. Fimbara's trying very hard, himself in front of Fimbara, himself a metre in front of Fimbara, just ahead in front near the line, and himself has just got there from Fimbara. Galactic Star was...
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Copy's doing it well. It's Chief Copy for the Luca family, looking home and hosed. It bolted clear in that 30.2 third sectional, running on Rocks This World on the outside and battling away as Hot Rockefeller on the inside. They're having a good battle, but Chief Copy's going to bolt in, and Chief Copy races home to win it well. Chief Copy won easily.
Yes, Chief Copy was able to give Charlie Luca a big race success there, and a good moment for Hayden Charles. He was pretty happy across the line as well. Chief Copy, who had been trending in the right direction, notwithstanding he hadn't won a race, he was able to do it on the biggest stage just about that he contested. He had been in the Champagne Classic, but it all came together at the right time for Chief Copy.
Yeah, it was a Charles affair, wasn't it?
I was going to say Charles to the power of 2.
Yeah, maybe power of 3 if King Charles was listening from the palace, but it's hard to believe he would be. But you never know. He does like horses, and he's had some gallopers win for him already. But that was a wonderful moment. The family were all down there. I saw Anita there. I hadn't seen her for a while, and also the grandson, he was there as well, and he's showing a keen interest. So lovely to see the Luca family getting results after so much perseverance over the years to land that winner on Friday night.
Yeah, and hopefully the success can continue for them and Chief Copy, and it's good to see the ill-fated My Heart Copy having some success, because he won the very next race we'll talk about later on. So he took out both the features there last week at Gloucester Park. We're going to have a look at the program now. Start off with the first 5 races on the card tomorrow night there at Gloucester Park, getting underway at 5:10. The first race is the Valet Gordon Pike. It's over the 1730 metres. 1 Cheer the Major is $6. Others under double figures. 3 Peter Petrify, $1.75. 4 Eaton Rock, $8. 5 Watching Our Coin, $2.70.
Okay, so Cheer the Major. Carl believes he can do enough to kick up and lead. Watching Our Coin was very impressive last start. And what about this odds-on favourite, Peter Petrify? It looks pretty much under the odds there at $1.75. And Where is it going to end up from gate 3?
He's never shown gate speed in his life. I went back, I think he had 3 mobiles in New Zealand and he drew wide in all of them, so he didn't end up going forward. And since he's come here to WA, he's started once from gate number 5 and all the rest have been from the back row. So he's not going to be getting involved early, you wouldn't expect.
So currently $1.75. He could start $3.
He could. He will drift. He has to drift. He is a very talented horse. He's run some good times at his last couple, but purely for the fact it's 17:30, there are some horses in this race that are no slouches and they're likely to be ahead of him in the run. It's going to be hard work.
Well, Watching a Coin was very impressive its last 2 starts, really, and Gary Hall Jr. is aboard this horse for Michael Young, and I'd imagine that Gary is going to have to start rolling forward pretty early.
He'll want to get up there from the moment they go because he's got Eaton Rock, who is the biggest challenger to cheer the major for that early supremacy, and he'll want to be bang there outside the leader from an early stage. He's really turned the corner his last few after a lacklustre beginning to the campaign. He's strung together 3 wins. He had to win 2 starts ago, how it turned out for him. But last start, it was a top effort, 156.8 from the breeze, and he held off some good horses in Rock on top and Eaton Rock, who reopposes.
He's a real chaser. He pins the ears back and goes to the line. So Cheer the Major in 1, Watching Our Coin in 5. What are you recommending as an investment possibility here in the first?
I think Cheer the Major is ludicrous overs at $6. I thought he'd be favourite, and he's nowhere close. All he has to do is hold out Eaton Rock early and he can become a real winning chance. He has done his best work out in front. There was a case 5 runs or so ago behind Who's the Dad in that race we referenced with Kyle. He was beaten out of sight, but he still beat the rest and they went 153 overall. And even going back further than that, there was a case where he ran 155 for the 2100 when he was only beaten a metre, 155.9. That was when he was chasing Tiger Royal after he was able to get a soft run off the pace. The blocks go on, which is a good gear change, and I think he can fire out, do enough to lead it. If he does, he'll become a big winning chance.
Okay, Cheer the Major there was beaten from gate 1 behind Tiger Royal going back a little while ago. And
they just never stopped running in that race.
Yeah, that's right. And did win.
21.
Yeah, and did win from gate 1 over 2100, beating Illawong Mustang. They came home 29.6. That was over 21 as well. Did the job pretty well on that occasion. So certainly handles being in front, and especially over this short course, looks really hard to beat. So you're suggesting each way?
I'd be backing it straight out.
Straight out.
You know how I roll.
Yeah, I know. Well, that is certainly the king factor there, coming in straight out only race 1. I'd be going concession or to run top 4 because I'm rather pusillanimous. Now, race number 2 over the 21.30 comes up at 5.41. Take out 4 Chewer's Delight and also 5 Carrera Mac, and you've got to mark it.
Yeah. Number 1, Mea Culpa, is $1.50. Number 3, One Smart Fella. You don't want to get your consonants mucked up there on that horse, is at $8. And then Kimball, number 8, is $4.60. They're the 3 under double figures.
Okay, so you're referring to the S and the F.
Yep.
Mea Culpa from the inside. It's been racing really well without much luck and just has the draw to win this race.
Yes, gets a big opportunity. I'd be interested to see what they do with Kimball. First time out for Michael George, drawn out wide, does have some gate speed. Probably won't cross, and especially now, given Chewer's Delight and Carrera Mac come out, I think that does reduce his chances of being able to get across, because being wider when those 2 horses are not going to be getting involved at all is that extra help, because you get to use even more of the camber. But Mea Culpa, I think his form is that 1 or 2% off what he was doing a month or 2 ago, but he's still going well enough, and this does look a good class drop for him.
Yeah. Trialled recently?
Kimball? Yeah, trialled like a bomb. Went really well there. Picked up many lengths inside that last 850 metres. And I know Michael is pretty happy with this horse, how he's got him going, but the draw is a stinger. I think the Gloucester Park preview tomorrow morning are getting Michael on, so we'll be elucidated further.
Okay, and that was behind Finbar in the trial. They're coming home in 28.4. So dangers in this race. You got Flow Rider, who's drawn right behind Henrik Larsson. We're not sure where Master Publishers at right at the moment. Alderette we talked with Kyle about, and he's a bit of a each way hope maybe at a big price, and without the tar has drawn right on the back of Mea Culpa, and you'd think from there it should just about be in the money.
Yeah, and is $2.10, which looks an acceptable place price. One Smart Fella is going well. He's been hitting the line hard off soft runs lately. Master Publisher was better last time. I know he only ran 8th, but it was a better effort than what he'd been doing. Alterette's going A-OK. Draw hurts. Medieval Man, it's a big step up for him. Flow Rider, I want to see something more before I get too enthusiastic. Cordero's the one who has largely competed in stronger races. I don't think he's at his best at the moment, and there's not going to be enough pressure in the contest, I feel, for him to be a factor. But if there was something ludicrous happen, 50-1.
Yeah, I agree. Though he's not quite at his best at the moment. Even with a peg straw here, he could well be struggling a little bit. But you're right, he's down a touch in class. So Mea Culpa from the 1. How would you say play a first 4 here in the second?
I'd go 1 to win. From 10, I'd probably... Kimball's got to be in there, but the draw hurts. I think I'd just go 110 and then risk it just to try to get the percentage up. And then for third, I'd go 3...
One Smart Fella.
6...
Master Publisher.
8...
Kimball.
11...
Flow Rider.
And then I'd go the same, and then I'd add 12 for fourth.
Okay, and then add Cordero for fourth, number 12, to try and bump it up a bit if it snuck into the fourth spot. And we've seen so many of these first 4s just absolutely be blown out of the universe when a trifecta might pay $40 or $50 or $100, and then the first 4 ends up, $600 or $1,500, $2,000 because 100 to 1 pot runs fourth. I
think the bet is one without the place at the moment.
Yeah, it's hard to see him missing, isn't it, from the inside behind Mea Culpa?
The only way he could probably miss is if he fired up, but if they're not using him from an early stage, he's less likely to overdo it in the run.
Race 3, we've seen a lot of number 1s here with big chances, and it continues throughout the night in the first 5 races, really. In fact, the first 6 races.
Well, I had a look last night, and I had 8 number 1s starting favourite.
Yeah, that's about right. And one of these is the Mustang, who... Again, he's probably a horse not quite as his absolute best at the moment, but he's drawn 1 here. But there's some talent in the race. Classic Choice, Blitz and Buy, Beat City. How's the market look?
The Mustang is $1.55. Classic Choice is $8, and Tenzing Bromac $3.
Okay, so he's out, Tenzing Bromac.
Is he?
Yeah, it's just come out. So
well, that changes things.
Yeah, so that means Moonlight Drive will start from the outside of the front.
Well, I was pretty confident on Tenzing Bromac. I thought he could go to the breeze and monster them.
Yeah, well, it's been somewhat dented now. You're going to have to wait. The Mustang...
Well, the market will change now as well. The Mustang's going to be $120.
Really?
Yeah, because Tenzing Bromac was $3.
The only pressure horse too, yeah. But, Classic Choice, Blitz and Buy, Beat City.
Classic Choice will go straight behind.
Yeah, behind. So you're left with... Yeah, there's no pressure horse, is there, really?
No, well, Blitz and Buy could have a crack, but it's very unlikely to cross. What a Bro could have a crack if Blitz and Buy didn't come out, but I still don't think he'd cross.
And Blitz and Buy will...
the only reason they can cross is because 1 over 17.30. Otherwise, they're just none.
Yeah, I think you think Shannon would come out with Blitz and Buy because if What a Bro
He's got nothing to lose by coming out.
That's right, because if What a Bro presses forward and doesn't get across the Mustang, he'll drag back and Blitz and Buy will be forced a bit further back and maybe have to come around. So, and if What a Bro does cross, then he's left out there. So
the Mustang probably wins now.
Yeah, and so if the Mustang and Blitz and Buy can control the race, the Mustang wins and Blitz and Buy finishes second or third?
Well, I think Shannon would be very happy to be in the breeze, controlling it from that position on Blitz and Buy.
Yeah.
What a Bro, though, equally would be happy to be in that position, I think.
Okay, so the ones that probably don't have a chance are the Kraken and Brookie's Jet.
Yep.
Moonlight Drive's racing well, but the draw really hurts it.
Stings. Same with Beat City, really.
Yeah, he'll be winding up into... That was a pretty good run, though, last start. He really charged that last little bit to get second.
Yep.
So he's going well. He's so close to a win. He just needs the right draw and the right race, but maybe this isn't it.
No. Moving on to race number 4, the Cowden Insurance. And it goes at 6:45 over the 21:30. Small field, pretty similar to what we've been coming up with in recent times. Number 1, Finvara, is $1.45. 2, Prince of Pleasure, $3.80. 3, the Codebreakers, $23. 4, himself, $6. And 5, Vampiro, $7.50.
Okay, so whoever's been drawing gate 1 in these contests has basically been winning, and this time Prince of Pleasure has to relent to Finvara, who's drawn the inside, and he has been crossed from gate number 1 before, Hayden, Finvara. Is he a different horse now? Or?
I think he's been learning on the job. He's still a relatively lightly raced horse, 29 starts, but throughout that time he has had a lot of issues. It hasn't been a case of him getting a strong body of work at once. It's been always interrupted because he's had feet problems. This time in the most frequently we've been able to see him at the track. He's had 6 runs since, mid-May or something. So, yeah, he's finally beginning to actually get some racetrack experience with some degree of frequency.
So what's the percentage chance of anything else crossing Finvara here?
I think 0.
0?
Because Vampiro doesn't have the hood on. So
no.
I think he'll be going back. Himself gets out fast, but I don't think he's fast enough to get Gary from the 2100 metre start. And Prince of Pleasure's going to be... He'll be there coming out just enough to ensure that they can't get across, but he also won't want to miss the position behind
the leader.
Finvara. So
yeah. Okay.
He should lead and win.
Yeah. Prince of Pleasure's probably a quicker beginner than Finvara, but you're saying because of the tactics here and the Finvara's drawn 1, it won't happen that Prince of Pleasure's going to just zoom out and cross it.
No, he can't cross him.
Impossible. Okay.
Yeah.
0% chance.
Well, nothing is ever 0. Finvara did gallop a couple of starts ago, but I don't think that was anything to be concerned about. So
okay, and what about Prince of Pleasure in the clear, top of the straight, no chance of running it down?
I don't think so. I think Finvara is the better horse. Prince of Pleasure from point A to point B over 50 metres, I think he'd be faster, but I think Finvara is the better animal.
Okay, hence the $1.45 for Finvara. So it's just, Finvara to win and exact a 1 from 2.
And I don't think he'd be too worried about Prince of Pleasure getting out because he'll be wanting to make himself work a bit and won't want to get Vampiro into the contest either. So it could be 1 to beat 2 and then play around with the other 3.
Yeah, you're not going to get much out of it.
No.
Okay.
Someone will be listening to this and they messaged me last week and they said, what about the Prince of Pleasure and Finvara Quinella? And I just said, it's not worth it. It can't possibly be worth putting that on because it should collect.
Yeah.
But the risk v reward is just too big. And as it turned out, there wasn't a heap separating them across the line. So,
yeah, I actually tipped Finvara. I thought it was a chance to beat himself, but left with a bit of egg on my face. Although he really made a great race of it, Finvara. He's loomed up before and not quite been able to win against a good horse, and that happened again. But the Quinella paid $1.20, so you're pretty much right in saying don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think we know one person who would have a big bet at the 120.
It's certainly not worth getting the shakes for. No. Or the possible heart strain. Bridge
Bar is race number 5 on the program, 21:30 the trip at 7:16. Number 1 American Armour is $2.90. Number 7 Steno is $6. And the favourite is number 9 Ashani Girl at $1.85.
Okay, well Steno dropped out fairly sharply last start. Before that, the form was really, really good. Ashani Girl was terrific, getting held up last start and absolutely rattling to the line, although beaten a fair way in the end by Don't Be Silly Chili, who produced a a career best performance, just rounding them up. Didn't it truck into it with that trail into the race for Edgerton Green and let go with a really big run. But American Armour here, drawn the inside, racing well. It's been putting in some very good runs both at Pinjarra and Gloucester Park, and certainly has come up with the draw to be very competitive.
Does have plenty of gate speed as well, American Armour. If you go back, she's been used off the arm and has come out under little urgence and has come out very effectively indeed. So drawn gate number 1 gets a key opportunity, and I think her form is progressing in the right direction. 2 starts ago there at Pinjarra, she was back in the field in a race they went 154.2, so she was never going to be able to make up any kind of significant headway, but she did a good enough job. And then last time out, she was off the pegs coming wider, and she still ran home well into 4th place behind Wonderful to Fly. So her form is nearing a win.
She almost had to make 2 runs there, one to get into the 1-1 at about the 450, and then again to try and make ground to the line, and they were running home in 27.4, so she couldn't have done much more.
No. The interesting thing is, I don't think Steno could cross her, but would a Shani girl just come out guns blazing from the outside and try to cross?
Possibly.
Or would she be happy to amble up to the outside of American Armour and try to beat her that way?
That's possible as well, but then you've got the possibility of Steno being in the breeze. Well, Steno going forward outside American Armour and sticking there and maybe holding this position possibly to try and beat a Charney girl. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Or you said you think she'd hand up.
I'm pretty confident. Because otherwise Steno has to be working in the breeze, and a Shani girl's not going to take no for an answer. She'll just keep trucking out 3 wide, and I think it'll just undo all 3 of them, and Steno will be probably the second or first biggest sufferer.
You're suggesting Gary just won't take no for an answer just in this particular race or generally?
Well, you do have to analyse the psychology of these drivers, so...
Because I have seen him back off in recent times as well. When he's been out there 3 wide, he's quickly gone back. Other times he hasn't.
Not on a horse like a Shani girl, okay. I don't think.
Yeah, okay.
In a lineup like this, in any way. I think American Armour can lead and run a very positive race. I think she can win.
Yep.
A Shani girl, I'd be scared if he said he was just going to launch at the start and just try to make something happen, because he can do things like that. And... others in the race, Don't Be Silly Chili, a good place chance, dropping immediately behind American Armour and following her. She's been racing well, even before that win last time out. I know she went off liberal odds, but her runs had been good prior to that effort. Others in the race, Sunshine Swift, a big step up. She's going to need luck from there. And Steno's the other one, just draw 7, does hurt her a lot.
Yeah, I think Don't Be Silly Chili would have to be considered the blowout chance here in a sense, because...
say that scenario happened where we had the 3 in a line at the front.
Yeah,
she's sitting on them.
Yeah. Right, so your play here is straight out American Armour.
Yeah, I'm not too enthused by the price, but that would be the way I'd play it if I had to.
And the quaddie, you'd probably leave Steno out and just go 1-2-9, American Armour, Don't Be Silly Chili, or Charney Girl?
Well... I'd just be aggressive. I'd just back in 1 and just try to get the result.
You're an unbending idealist. Well, what about more units with the number 1 and then half the amount of units with number 9 and then a quarter with number 2, Don't Be Silly Chili?
But 9 is the favourite, so if you're going half the units, then it's not
okay, well, just take 1 and surely take 1 and 9.
No. We're going to go to a break now. And as we do, it was the other $30,000 feature last week that other progeny of My Heart Copy was able to get the money. And it really was the one you wanted to be on in the run. I Cross My Heart, lurking behind a hot speed, getting to the outside at the right time, and was good enough to win.
My Heart hitting the front with Mania giving chase. Decla Diva the inside, then Stellar Edition fill the jug. I Cross My Heart, quarter pass, he goes for home, is looking good. I Cross My Heart got a metre in front of Decla Diva, and then came Stellar Edition and Mania, but it's I Cross My Heart in front. Always travelled well, and I Cross My Heart goes home to win by 1.5 metres. Second, Decla Diva, 4 metres away. Third.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Mortz and Michael Radley.
So fast to the than Dad back to the inside as they straighten up though, and Mighty Conqueror clear from Petronas Bay running second, and then came on the inside Longreach Bay. Faster than Dad's trying to sneak home and get into third with Babyface out of, but Mighty Conqueror's in front of Petronas Star, and Mighty Conqueror won by 3 metres to Petronas Star.
Yeah, Mighty Conqueror was able to salute, capping off another big night for Greg and Sky Bond and Denny Roberts. It's become a regular theme on our Friday fixtures. Mighty Conqueror back in the winners list.
Yeah, it's a good performance. It's great to see him back in such good form. Apparently this campaign, they've just had absolutely no issues with him. It's been trouble-free, and he's going like a horse who's going to be very competitive in some of the feature races in October leading into the Pacing Cup. Interesting that at this stage of his career, as an 8.5-year-old horse, he's injury-free. It's interesting how the anatomy works. Yeah, it happens sometimes, doesn't it? I mean, in the gallops, you see some horses, they're star 2-year-olds, maybe early 3-year-olds, and they go off for a couple of years. And then I remember when I was younger, like in the early 80s, there was quite a few horses. Manikou was one, brilliant juvenile, and then went into the wilderness for a few years and then came back, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and performed extremely well. So, yeah, that does happen in both codes. Interesting. Could be something to consult the sports scientist about. We're going to keep going. Race number 6 on the program is the GPHR Westbred Winter 4 and 5-year-old Restricted Classic, and number 1 Faster Than Dad. He's a class dropper into this race, and he comes up with the ace. He's $1.55. Number 3 Hillview Bondi is $9. 7 Armour X Factor $6.50, and 10 Paul Edward $7. Okay, which way are you going here? Faster Than Dad. Just leads and wins, or yes, should be. 21.30 gives him a bigger chance of holding out. Who's the Dad? Who's going to be the most significant early challenger? Can't really see anything else being fired off the gate. Who's the Dad? Something to consider is he is first up off more than a month, so he's had an absence since he was turning in those week in, week out efforts, so he might be a touch underdone. Yeah, but he's a different horse this campaign, isn't he? And what about Gate 1? Has he ever started from Gate 1? Faster Than Dad? He would have at some stage. I don't know if he has, It's quite incredible. Yes, he did at Pinjarra at his second start, and he handed up to the stablemate, I think. That was El Chema, wasn't it? No, El Chema. Yeah, and they ran home in 26.8. 26.8. And, there was no... I tried to watch the replay, and it didn't come up. I remember... Oh, here it is. Okay, so... Yeah, no, I was on the wrong... it doesn't really matter the gate speed that early, and he came out... He could have held the front if he wanted. He handed straight up. So. He was just eased back, and El Chema went straight to the front. Yeah, so... he's got gate speed. Yeah, he led going back... When was it? Back 21st of April from gate number 3. He showed enough speed to hold out Joey James, and there was another quick beginner out slightly wider of them. So I think if you can hold out Joey James, you'll be doing enough to hold up here, particularly given that he'd never really been used off the gate. And then that night he was expected to, so he'll be further acclimated to the caper. Were you faster than your dad when you were sort of sprinting as a young man, or would he beat you? I don't think I ever really had any races with my dad. Oh, you never met in the same field? No. It's funny, my dad, you used to have parents' races at the athletics carnival. Yeah, Mum always did those, not Dad. Did she? Oh, okay. My dad did one, and it was probably my most embarrassing moment as a young lad. You look up to your father, and he had blistering pace, right, Solomon, and he was over 100 metres, and he raced in socks only. And they weren't grip. Only, so he had nothing on above the socks. No, that would have scared a few of the mothers off, no doubt. But he led clearly, just running them ragged, right? He's raced away. He's about 10 metres in front of Cyril Bernstein. And about 10 metres out, he either got jelly legs or he slipped in his socks and he went head over heels, down and out, and ran last. And if they're betting in the run, he was $1.01 with 20 metres to go. Like, he had an unassailable lead and down he went. There's a clip I saw of an American race a little while ago, and there must be a horse who was a bit of a loony, and he's out in front and he can't possibly lose. And he says, "There's no antics today." And then just as he says that,
the horse barrels into the rail and loses. There was literally about 5 metres left to go, so shades of that.
Antics, mayhem, antics. Antics probably relates more to a child, doesn't it, than the mayhem, I'd say.
Yeah, okay.
Faster Than Dad, drawn 1. So you're just playing it straight out?
Yep. Yeah, it's only $1.55, so should be winning. Like, it's not a price that I'd be singling out and having a massive whack on, but I want to multi it into something else later on. So that's my theory.
Okay, and Hillview Bondi is going to get a good run, probably close to the speed.
Well, Kyle wants to get to the breeze.
Yeah. And Armour X Factor, it's absolutely flying. It's doing some wonderful things down there at Pinjarra. It's won its last, 4 starts. It's been doing it from all sorts of positions. So it's going well enough to be competitive.
Oh, absolutely. Its form is terrific. Won in 154.2 2 starts ago, and then last start breezed and brained them in 156.6. He's on the top of his game, but he bumps into a horse that's been in free-for-alls in Faster Than Dad, who draws gate number 1, which makes it very hard for the rest. Paul Edward should follow Faster Than Dad wherever he goes. El Daytona will also want to get forward, so I'm not sure how it really turns out for Hillview Bondi early, and whether those horses like Who's the Dad or El Daytona would let him get to the breeze. It might be a bit awkward for him.
Okay, so there's no horse with the X Factor to be able to beat Faster Than Dad?
No.
Race number 7 comes up at 8:20, the Allwood Stud Farm pace over 1,730 metres. Kyle gave Pelagroso a good push here from the inside, and how does the market look?
Pelagroso is $1.75. He's already tightened up. They did bet $2.15 on Tab Touch earlier today. Number 4, Disco Under Fire, my horse, $8.50. I keep falling for this horse. And then $8.50 about number 12, Cloud 9.
Okay, well, Pelagroso was pretty impressive first up and probably wasn't at the top of its game anyway, but still walked in and looks pretty hard to beat.
He looks dangerous. That's what Pelagroso means in Spanish. He looks all over a winner, providing he can do enough to lead and providing he has the dangers right where he wants them. I think he will do enough to lead. He's shown exceptional gate speed on a couple of occasions. His first up run the other night was very good. He went 158.7. Didn't do much through that middle half. They only went 61.4, but all around that he was running along. So 17.30 out in front, that's where you want to be. He's getting in to more like his right price now. The Better Than Even Money was a very good price, but he should be able to do enough to lead. The big challenges, as I mentioned, look, he's a head honcho and mostly hot-footed, who flew out on Tuesday. He couldn't get to the breeze even, though, because if G. Smith hadn't been there, he actually would have run to the front. And the way he went, you would have said he would have just led and won. But he went all the way back to last, and then he came with that sweeping run and another metre or two, and he wins the race. So it's going well.
It was a really big performance and almost a career best run there, even though he didn't win. And he has been showing, as you say, pretty good gate speed. And it is the 17:30 starting point, so you never know. But Ernest Hemingway was oblivious to the dangers during the Spanish Civil War, as he went over as a freelance journalist. And I think you're going to be oblivious to the dangers of backing this horse Pelagroso from the inside in a very big way.
Well, Disco Under Fire, if he could get prominent and get up there in the moving line, he could be dangerous. I'm just not sure where he could get to. Does he try to get underneath hot-footed, then get the cover on that horse? Does Baltic Ace go forward, a horse that can be used up? Flying Rumour's going to get a soft run behind Pelagroso, but what good is soil when there's nothing to grow? He may not ever get out. And then Cloud 9, who was better last time, getting back in the field and running on after having been used up on recent occasions. He was driven more negatively, which he responded well to, as 97% of horses do.
Well, soil can be useful if there's certain specks of metal within the soil which you can extract through various gases. So I wouldn't rule out soil being useless even if there's nothing to grow.
You're just pulling holes in my analogy. You're doing what they do on the oval when they get the clods of dirt out. You're just picking holes in the soil. Okay, we're moving on to race number 8 on the program. It goes at a time of 8:48. the GPHR Westside 3-year-old Colts and Geldings. And here, number 6 Skylord is back to the exclusion of all else at $1.12 and 7 Velocipede, the only one given a Cinder in Snow's chance of beating him at $3.40.
Well, race number 1 at Pinjarra at Gloucester Park recently saw Mr. Smarty win. Crowd control sat on the back of it. Skylord was outside the leader there and dropped back to 3rd, but it was still a pretty good effort. Yeah, he's going really well. He should be able to find his way forward to the front, and from there, it should be game over. He is a top horse, Skylord, and I can't see anything offering any serious resistance underneath or to the outside, in truth. Okay, and Velocipede is the second favourite. And should run second. Clearly the second best horse. And Kyle believes Ready to Fly is the third best horse. So is that a Blanc 6, 7, 8? No, not for me. I think Flashing Arc will run into third place, sitting on Skylord. I hope for his sake, Flashing Arc, they don't ramp up too early. And if they do ramp up too early, then Donald just has to try to rate back to beat the rest, I think. That is providing he does hold those to his outside. Eastern Advance might have a crack early. I think he does have plenty of gate speed, though. And if they do start running and Flashing Arc does try to chase them, Reg Lawson should get out and chop him down. So I was thinking 6, 7, 1, 2. No chance, Flashing Arc. None. Won't go with them. Will be lost in the final 400 metres. We'll be looking for some oxygen there. So, unfortunately, your trifecta ticket is confetti already, Hayden. So, how much? What price are you giving me that trifecta? Well, I want to maintain the friendship, so we'll hold off from any kind of side bet. Okay. Well, actually, I really want to hold the friendship. Let me rethink that. Yeah. Okay. We'll discuss it afterwards. Okay. Race number 9 on the program. It goes at a time of 9:22, and it's the GPHR Westside 3-year-old fillies. And here, number 1, Fly to Fame, is $1.18. 2 Flying to Win is $6.50, and 6 Jackie Daniels, $4.40. Okay, well, Fly to Fame, that was a really good win. Just rounded them up, did a bit of a Don't Be Silly Chili out wide, and won nicely. So it's going really well. It's got the draw to just dominate. Best horse, best draw, should win. It has been going super well. Put the writing on the wall with that leading performance 2 starts ago when she bolted in over this lineup but powered up. And then last time out, similar lineup and did it from behind. She should be able to do it all from the front. I think Jackie Daniels is clearly in the top 2 horses in the race, so I'd be playing her to run second. Nothing wrong with her form. She had that soil scenario 2 starts ago when she was bundled up behind them and she got packed in by the Gardener, and before that she found the line strongly coming away from the peg. So she will have to do plenty of work in the run from gate number 6, but I think she'll probably run second. And then behind those, Flying to Win was able to beat our Lily Lou at Narrogin. It was a real muddly race, but she probably will do enough to run third. And behind her, I could see Arkamara Star running over Feeling Empathy, potentially for 4th. Okay, and that's race number 9, so it lacks a bit of interest on the investment side there, race 9, but certainly Fly to Fame looking like the hat-trick is well within its grasp. Race number 10 is coming up at 9:50, 11 races, so this is the second last over the 21:30, and we see this horse who's trialled very nicely, Atlantic Gem, who you called Atlantic Jewel during the interview with Kyle, but I called Patronus Star Patronus Bay last week. I called it Atlantic Jewel. You did. Well, hopefully there's some Group 1s ahead. Yeah, well, there is an Atlantic Jewel Classic, of course. Is that held at Scone? I think it is. I don't know. Yeah, the Atlantic. I say Scone. Scone at the Atlantic Jewel in New South Wales. A very fast horse and a brilliant galloper. But this is the Atlantic Gem. And Patronus Star is Patronus Star and not Patronus Bay. Atlantic Gem, what price have we got? $2 for number 1. Lunetta is $9. San Remo Beach number 6 is $9. 7 Chili Punter $6.50 and 8 Maddie Lou at $3.80. Okay, Atlantic Gem, I called it. Byford looked pretty good. I think it can win this race. I think it's tight enough on what I saw there at Byford. And as I alluded to, I thought they might opt for the hood first time out, but they haven't. Kyle suggested that she was sharper there at Byford than she had been.
I think we do need to see her be a little more on her toes on race day tomorrow night, but there's every reason that she will be. It's her first time to the races, and she's only going to keep improving.
Okay, and what about the Hot Ahoka?
The Chile punter.
That's it.
Is going well. 2 from 2. You can't do any more than win. Admittedly, both of those races have been slow times. They went 2-2-4 and then 2-1-9. But she had to be the best horse in the race to win last time. She led up the moving line and only got there in the final stride over Ryder Rose. But she is a horse that continues to improve. We saw the progression from 1 to 2 and probably from 2 to 3.
It's funny, just going back to you calling Atlantic Gem Atlantic Jewel, hate to bring it up again, and myself calling Patronus Star Patronus Bay when Longreach Bay was in the race. Often you don't realise that you've said it until sometimes days afterwards or a week later. I never would
have known if I called it Atlantic Jewel.
Unless you listen back to tonight's interview.
Mm.
It's amazing, isn't it, how the brain operates?
Yeah, well, I don't mean to make light-hearted of it, but I won't be the minstrel in this instance.
Okay,
Chile Punter is by betting line from Habanero.
Oh, yeah, Habanero.
So, there, you see how we get the name. In this race, well, Atlantic Jewel declaring that Kyle would like to lead. Lunetta gets the perfect trailing opportunity. I think she's going just about well enough to take this out if the breaks went her way. Other ones, San Remo Beach, did a lot of work there last time out in that race where she had a shot at the front but was unsuccessful in that endeavour with Mania. They compared notes for some distance and set it up for In a Wink. Maddie Lou was good from behind in that race. I think the overs in the race are probably Lunetta and San Remo Beach.
Why not Maddie Lou?
Well, one reason is that Aidan indicated first up that San Remo Beach was the better chance of the two. Maybe that was draw dependent, and maybe he was impressed with what Maddie Lou did because she had been disappointing him on the track, he indicated in the interview. So she will need to improve again, but she certainly can, and she's drawn the widest.
Yeah, ran home really well over the final stages. Inner Wink had a bit of a break on it, and she cut that down a little bit over the final stages. So it was a pretty good run by Maddie Lou, and I think it can go pretty well here. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually won the race, Maddie Lou.
I'm going Lunetta each way.
Really?
Yeah, because she's going to get a super run on the back of Atlantic Jewel if she is to be the leader. And last time out, she was crawling over the back of them in that Chile Punter race. And then before that, she got monstered from the breeze with a horse that got keen outside her. So I can forgive that. And before that, she was going well.
Yeah, got monstered. I don't know if it got monstered a little bit, but I thought it was disappointing.
Well, the horse that beat her is
Northam.
a monster.
Okay, yeah. On the back foot you're referring to, one of Michael Young's who's currently out spelling. Hopefully set for a good campaign next time in. So you are going with Lunetta each way.
Yep.
Gee, you've come up with some strange... Like Lunetta, I can't see it, and Flashing Art, you're blonking for third in race 8, and I just can't see that happening either.
I'd go 1-2-1-2. I'd go that race before the Flashing Arc one. I'd go one with Flashing Arc to run third and one with Reg Lawson to run third.
Oh, okay. So Skylord to beat Velocipede, Flashing Arc, big one, and then half the amount maybe with Reg Lawson.
It could be equal amounts.
Okay. So you just one ticket.
Yeah.
You're just lazy.
I wanted to use the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really against any kind of recycling.
Oh, you're a great environmentalist. Race number 11, it comes up at 10:25 over the 2,500 metres, and this is a trot, and the Gloucester Park on Twitter standing start trot, so the spread out over 30 metres. How does the market look?
That's Not My Gate is $3 number 2 and 3. Bromwich is $1.55, double figures the rest. Stay focused at $10.
Okay, well, Bromwich beaten last start, amazingly.
Galloped.
Yeah, galloped late behind Love
Not
Flair.
really late. It galloped for the last 200 metres.
Well, it depends how you define late, I guess. And it depends how you define the spirit of cricket and rules of the game. But
What's your opinion?
on that particular incident.
Well, he actually threw it before he'd even left his crease. But then again, he's anticipated him leaving his crease. Otherwise, you never would throw it.
Yeah, that's right. So, strictly it was fine. If you're looking at spirit of the game, I mean, if you look at any sport, even through a 3-hour game of sport, whatever it might be, often things happen within the rules, but not necessarily within the spirit of the game, and it's okay. No one really blinks an eyelid. Like, what about in the last minute of the game of soccer? You often see it, a team's 1-0 up, and the attacker, instead of going for goal, drags it to the corner flag and just holds onto it so no one can get near the ball. I mean, it's just going on all the time, and if it's within the rules, what more can you do? Makes it simple just to say it's okay.
Well, these horses are racing under standing start rules, and for that reason, it makes it a little bit more difficult. That's Not My Gate, invariably, is a very safe beginner. She was not quite brilliant from the tapes last time out. Chris Lewis teams up with this horse for the first time. It's actually interesting, if you go back to that Pinjarra race where That's Not My Gate met Bromwich, the first time out, That's Not My Gate was doing enough to hold out Bromwich, but it was a false start. And then they had a second attempt and Bromwich lunged at the tapes and powered to the front, and that was the ball game. I don't think you could say with certainty who's going to lead this race. It could be That's Not My Gate, Bromwich, or even Sky Eagle pinged last time out, and we know he's hell-bent on holding the front, Sky Eagle. So it could throw up a few different scenarios. It's not a race I'm too enthusiastic to get out on. Hopefully the last at Northam's after it. I don't think it is, though.
Oh, okay.
10:25. No,
Northam finishes well before Gloucester Park. Well and truly. Matt Young will be halfway down Greenmount Hill listening to the last at GP. Sky Eagle is interesting because he was very tenacious there behind That's Not My Gate.
I don't think it has the class, though.
I didn't think it had the class actually to do that, but it did.
No, he just keeps rolling. He doesn't have any high speed, but he can just keep churning out the 30 pluses, like just over 30s.
Who's your best bet?
Well, at the prices, I'll tell you, it's Cheer the Major. $6 is a big price.
Okay, and what about Northam on a Friday night?
We're going to get to that in the next segment.
Okay.
So we'll take a break and we'll come back. Just before we go to the break, though, we're going to relive one of the winners from last week. It's a horse who's put together 3 in succession, and he gets another chance at it tomorrow night. Watching Our Coin.
The lead. Watching Our Coin's coming hard at Rock on top now as they turn. Eden Rock trying to work clear in the straight. Watching Our Coin on the outside has raced up and taken the lead now from Rock on top. Eden Rock's getting out. I think it's going to be too late. Watching Our Coin's just in front of Rock on top. Eden Rock flies, but Watching Our Coin's in front. Watching Our Coin beat home Rock on top by a neck. Ahead away.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Rage around the outside, Colorado Banner. Away from the markers, Soho Confidential. Going through Tis a Wish, and then I'm Rock and Rod, but turn the page as well clear. She's 3 in front. Colorado Banner, he's all the rage. Tis a Wish and Soho Confidential, but turn the page is going to bolt in. Turn the page is won by Big Space. Turn the page 5 or 6.
Yeah, turn the page for Denny Roberts. Gee, she's a good looker, this horse, and she did the job there from the breeze, put paid to He's All the Rage, and gave them a beating second up in the state. Couple of gear changes make all the difference.
Yeah, so it is a good novel, being a page turner, and it looks a very nice horse in the making. What about this meeting at Northam? Tomorrow night in conjunction with Gloucester Park, we've got Narrogin as well. A good meeting there with the John Higgins on a Saturday night. So we'll take a quick look anyway, at least at Northam, with the first race getting underway at 5:18, an early start there, and the last at 9:13.
Yeah, so we start off with the first race. It's a 2-year-old Westbred affair, and Bob Fowler's got a big representation here, as he often does in these races. You've Been Thunderstruck's been scratched, which has changed the race a bit for me. Rocks the World is a horse who hasn't really shown any gate speed. It was actually highlighted in an interview with Trent Wheeler, I think, last time, that the horse didn't have much gate speed. So I guess tomorrow night push is going to have to come to shove, because he needs to do enough to hold Tiger Stevie early. But I guess he has the insurance of all the stablemates drawn to his inside, which helps. But on exposed form, I think Rocks the World is the one to beat.
Okay, and a couple of them probably didn't do enough last start to be competitive against Tiger Stevie there. And race number 2, and also Rocks the World, race number 2 is over the 1,780 metres field of 8.
Interesting race, this one, because Mr. Linton has had 8 starts and he's never been pushed out to try to show gate speed. Tomorrow night is the night, though. He needs to try to do enough to hold major overs, I feel, if they are to give themselves a serious winning chance. And I think if he does lead, he becomes a serious winning chance. Major overs, we know, is lavish with early dash, though, so he's going to be a significant challenger into that first bend. Mr. Linton's $4, major overs is $1.30. I'd be leaning the way of Mr. Linton at the prices because if he leads, I think he'll win.
Okay, in that case, major overs is major unders. Race number 3 here at Northam on Friday night, and the favourite here is number 5, Foxy Rose the Grey at $2.90, 3 Luke's Mistake at $4.60, and 1 Boston Rob at $6.50, along with 7 Ada Paris $6.50 and 9 Boston Blue Chip at $7. Luke's Mistake, is it a bit overpriced there at $4.60?
No.
Okay.
I think it's priced on what it can do. Its form recently has left a bit to be desired. So it was the one I wanted to risk because I knew it would come up a short price.
Okay.
And I don't think it's going that well. Boston Rob, potential leader. Chasing Cooper has been getting out much faster lately. Foxy Rose has a bit of speed, but Boston Rob will be trying to hold up off the inside, and he has some early dash, and he could give them a run for their money. The other one is Ada Paris. Aldo Cortopassi goes on this horse, drawn to trail up behind him, and has been very effective from trailing positions previously. So I thought Ada Paris could be pretty dangerous to Boston Rob. Others in the race, Chasing Cooper, will want to get forward. Foxy Rose resumes. Did trail up quite well, but the draw is no assistance.
Okay, so race number 4 is the final leg of the early quaddie, and here the favourite in what looks a pretty tricky race because he's Royal Blues drawn out in 5. Can go quickly. It's at $2.60. 3 Russenol at $4.40, along with 7 The Righteous, and then our surrogate number 2 is at $6.
Good battle for the early lead here. Our surrogate has pace. Sports Central is just okay. He's Royal Blue, can fly out when they use him. So could be a good contest. I think our surrogate might be the one to burrow through and find the front. He is first up, though. He's Royal Blue. Will be letting loose, and that could set it up for one off the pace. Anderson's got a couple here that will be finding the line strongly. Russenol was doing just that last time out, as was The Righteous. They both rebounded off some lacklustre performances with some strong efforts last time out. And I said Boo is a horse that's going okay, but gate number 10 really hurts his chances.
Yeah, battled away on the inside there last start. Only just missed a place in one of its better runs, really, because it was quite a good field. Race number 5 is over the 2,190 metres, and it comes up at 7:30. And here the favourite is Dame Valor, number 5 for Ryan Warwick, and it's at $1.35 fixed odds.
Certainly has the runs on the board. Dame Valor has been contesting some much stronger races. Has been behind, get these names right, Who's the Dad, and then 2 starts ago Taking the Mickey, and then last start Wonderful to Fly. Imagine the price of those horses in this race, and has only been beaten 8 metres, 2 metres and 13 metres.
Yeah, so it looks the winner here. No?
Probably.
Yeah.
135 is short enough, though. Like, it's not worth the risk fee reward factor. First up.
Okay, so Dazzling Jewel number 2 at $6. 1 Got a Good Woolhole, $8. 4 Johnny Lombo, $8. Can you see anything to beat Dame Valor that you'd be prepared to back?
It depends. I think you want to hear some interviews. Got a Good Warhole does have reasonable gate speed. Dazzling Jewel is pretty fast. They'll have a good battle early, I'd expect. And then if they do want to hold the front, then Dame Valor might have a little bit tougher task. And Johnny Lombo is the one who can just keep trucking on at the 1 speed, and he can grind a few of them down. So he could be the one at each way price that could run into this race.
Okay, and race number 6, Mistiano number 5's at $2.90. 6 Alpha Prince. This race over 2,620 metres, a longer trip. $3 Alpha Prince. And then we get to $5 2 G Smith and $7.50 for number 9, Let It Linger. So this is quite a good race.
Yeah, I like one. G Smith.
G Smith.
He's been going well. He was used up to try to get forward on Tuesday. Couldn't find the desired spot. Shuffled back to 1-2, and he was flashing through the line late. And I think he's got enough pace to find the front here. Better finish. They can't push because he's made so many errors in the past, and he's first up off an extended break. There's pace, I guess, from Mistiano, but G. Smith, he got out pretty well on Tuesday. Like he held hot-footed, who is a fast beginner. So from the front, he becomes the one to beat others in the race. Mistiano, she ran third behind Don't Be Silly Chili. That's a good form reference for a race like this. Alpha Prince is going super, super well. He was able to win in a better race than this last time out. So although they're drawn wide, if things go their way, you could see them coming into calculations. And then Mr. Editorial, who's first up, likely to need this. Let It Linger will have designs on the breeze at some stage, no doubt.
Okay, and just the last two races, 7 and 8, anything catch your eye?
I have to have a look. Chica Valiente, I thought, despite it being 1,700 and she would have to be back near the tail, she could come with a strong run. Haven't had a proper look at these prices just yet, so she is the favourite. Probably not a horse that you'd want to be backing as favourite. And the last race, Carmela Domenica draws gate number 1. I thought Immaculate might be one they might miss, drawn immediately behind it, but they haven't. So I'd probably go Immaculate 1/2 basis, because Carmela Domenica, although she's racing well and she has gate speed, is not a horse I could get enthusiastic about.
Okay, so it's $4 and $1.60, number 7 in the last race. I'm Immaculate. Sorry, Immaculate. Apologies.
Speaking of.
Yeah.
Names.
So your bet sounds like G. Smith at Northam.
Yep.
That's your one.
Yeah, well, there's plenty more to be had.
But
on Tab Touch tomorrow night.
Yeah, but that's your major one. And then Narrogin, just quickly, the John Higgins on Saturday night looks a really good race.
Well, it is interesting how the race progresses, because he's a cool Mac, will likely run to the front. I don't think they'd want to give the ascendancy to Shell Patch. I thought Shell Patch might be able to use Goodfellas as insurance to get to the front, because if they went forward on Shell Patch in the breeze and kept kicking up, then he's a cool Mac would think about relenting. But now Goodfellas is out, so that changes the race. Shell Patch has shown enormous potential at 2WA runs, though. Others in the race, our trump card won first up, and Miss Lamar, who I was keen on last Friday night at Gloucester Park. She didn't have the rub of the green there. Longreach Bay is a big class dropper, but draw number 6 hurts. I'd have to have a proper look at the fixture.
Okay, and that Narrogin meeting, 6:13 is the first race. Only 6 races. Boutique meeting there, 8:42. The final race at Narrogin on Saturday night. To wrap up the show, your best there, G. Smith, probably at Northam, and just repeating your best at Gloucester Park?
Cheer the Major, if we can get a hold of that price.
Cheer the Major, okay. Pinjarra is going to be on Monday and Gloucester Park on Tuesday, so we've got a lot of trotting ahead of us. Sunday is a day off.
It's been a massive week. We had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, doubleheader Friday upcoming, then Saturday, and then we do it all again.
Yeah, Pinjarra at Gloucester Park. So Sunday's really, the only day off. Thursday, I guess, as well, which has never been much of a pacing day.
No, well, they had trials today. There was like 9 trials at Pinjarra as well.
9 trials. Gee, Matt Young?
8, sorry.
Matt was there. Have they come up? You can watch the replays of the Pinjarra trials?
Yeah, they'll probably be up. They went from 2 o'clock onwards, so you can go and have a look.
Brilliant.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. Anytime.
Okay, that's been Talking Trots for this week. Hope to catch you all again next time.